Wolf. I'm your dating relationship coach using the feminine energy. And today we're going to talk about getting ready for that first date, the first time. Oh, you want to get yourself prepared. And I know how nerve wracking it can be, whether you're young and you just start dating, or you've already, been in the dating scene before and you're older and you're thinking, oh, it can be really intimidating, and you can get very nervous, and it kind of shakes your self confidence a little bit. Well, we're going to eliminate all that. Anyhow, with using the feminine energy, what you want to do before you get ready to go, and then leading up to it too, and start practicing it on a regular basis, because you're wanting to shift more into your feminine energy, which is your natural way of being. Not that you can't use your masculine energy at times too, for when you need to be action oriented and more assertive. However, we're trying to use the feminine energy, and you will find that you'll be a lot more at peace and a lot more happier. Anyhow, before you get going out, the difference between feminine and the masculine is the feminine energy is your feelings. It's how you're feeling. And the masculine is all thinking, about what you're going to go do, what you're going to do on the date, and trying to make all the plans and things like that. That's like your masculine, and you start getting thinking about all that type of portion of it. What you want to do is you want to stay within your feminine energy, which is your feelings and how you're feeling, and getting in touch with that. And I know it's not always easy. We kind of think that it is, but it kind of isn't. When we're real young, when we're little girls, we're very, feeling, it's very easy. We, cried kind of easy, if we, hurt our finger, or somebody hurt our feelings and things like that. And, but as we started getting a little bit older, we were taught to be, just suck it up and don't cry, and to be tough and things like that. Well, that's fine to a certain extent, but in the meantime, a little bit of that feminine energy was lost, because women stopped relating to their feelings as much, and just, was very much into their head and on a mission and things like that, which is fine. It's fine to use that masculine at times, but we're talking about the feminine energy, where your true happiness and your true way of being is. So, what you want to do is you want to start before you go out, and when you're thinking about the date and getting ready, don't be worrying about, how it's all going to go and what you're going to do and who's going to pay for it and the tip and all. Don't worry about any of that right now. Just start thinking about how you're feeling. And you know what? You may even be saying to yourself, well, you feel a little bit nervous. That's okay. And you're going to tell yourself that it's all right to feel a little bit nervous. You're still going to go and have a great time and be very successful. Anyways, when you're moving the attention, you want to get out of the mind portion of it, and more into the feminine energy. You want to start paying attention to your body. Put some attention of your abdomen area, and also in your groin area. Kind of maybe feel a little bit of warmth there, and you're kind of transferring it from up here down here, which this is the masculine up here in the mental, and the feeling is here in the feminine. And you're going to be using this concept a lot. And what happens is when you start getting into this feminine energy, and more of your feelings and stuff, it becomes like a magnet. I mean, men are just extremely attracted to this. I mean, they don't even know how come they are sometimes, but they are. Anyways, and this will really boost your self-confidence, and you give yourself a little bit of pep talk when you go out there. As far as how you're going to be dressing, you want to maybe put a little bit of a feminine look on your outfit. And you don't have to wear heels or anything like that if you're not into heels. And it's not about dressing provocatively, or anything like that. It's just kind of maybe looking a little bit more feminine, maybe some jewelry, and doing your makeup a little bit, whatever makes you feel a little bit more feminine. Think of an outfit that would be feminine to you, and that's what you want to go with. You want to be your authentic self. You're not trying to put on a front or be something that you're not. Not at all. You want to be your authentic self, and you want to wear something that's comfortable, because if you wear something that's not, your attention's going to be on, oh god, this is like picking me, or it's too tight, or I have to keep pulling up my straps all night long. You don't want to have to focus on that. Wear something that is comfortable for you, because that's going to make your whole evening go a lot smoother. Anyhow, when you're going on the date, the feminine energy versus the masculine. The masculine is more, everything's forward, it's action, it's doing, and you're leaning forward. See, yeah, I'm leaning forward, and it seems like a little bit more aggressive. Watch when I lean back. I lean back a little bit. Feminine is receiving, male is giving. You want to get into your feminine energy because you want to start receiving and allow the male to give to you. Anyhow, and when you're getting ready for your date, you can do a few techniques, kind of like raise your shoulders up and then drop them. You can do that a couple of times because it's going to release some of the stress that may be up here. We hold a lot of stress sometimes in our shoulder area. And when you're going on the date, you want to, smile. That's going to be a very big portion of it. Anyhow, when you walk into that room, when you're meeting your date, whether it's at a restaurant or wherever it may be, kind of lean back a little bit. Go a little bit slower pace. Kind of lean back. Don't go in there rushing around, and plop down in your chair and throw your purse down and whip your coat off. That's very all aggressive. You want, male energy. You want to go in there as more feminine. You're going to come in and, kind of a little bit more relaxed, and, and you sit down. And one thing nice about with the feminine energy, which I have to really practice because I have a tendency to slouch, I think we all do, is, try to sit up a little straight. If it's too much and, you're not really used to that, just kind of like lean a little bit and it'll make you look like you're sitting up straight. Having the shoulders, kind of roll back a little. Not in an awkward form, but in a very natural form. Keeping the shoulders down is a very big portion of it. And, having a light smile, and you sit down, but you don't want to be leaning forward. You don't want to lean forward when you first get there or throughout your date, because men, if you lean forward, they're going to pull back a little bit. That's not what you want. You're wanting to draw them to you if this is somebody that you're really interested in. So you're going to want to lean back a little bit. If you're in a booth, kind of lean back. And I had to really practice this because I have a tendency, man, to have my arms on the table and I lean forward because I'm really paying attention to listen to somebody. No. I had to practice leaning back, and that wasn't easy. But you can do it. I know you can. Anyhow, this really works. It gets to be really fun. So anyway, so you're leaning back a little bit and a little bit of smile. And when you go in there, just try to think about having a good time. Don't think about, oh God, this is the one and it's got to work, and really get yourself all worked up on that, because you know what? When you walk in there, men are very, very sensitive, and they're much more sensitive than what people give, women give them credit for, I should say, instead of people. They pick up on this. If you go in there with oh God, I got to find a man and this guy's got to be the one, and I really want to, but a man can pick up on that, and he's going to be going, whoa. He might not exactly pick up on it and go, wow, she's really looking, to get, married right away or something like that. But they'll be like really turned off. They'll, pick up on it one way or another, and they really will, and that'll be a turn off. So what you want to do is when you go, and I know it's hard not to do that when that is what you really want, but you know what you want to do is not have it be just this person in mind. Say that, yes, that's what I happen to be looking for, but I'm going to go on a few dates and meet a few people and, kind of see how this works out and which one's going to be the best candidate for me. Kind of go with that kind of attitude. And that is going to be much more beneficial to you. And throughout the date, you're always worried about, oh, God, what should you talk about and things like that. You don't want to over talk. I know that's hard. And as you can tell, I can talk a lot at times. What you want to do is you want to be a listener, because part of the feminine energy is being a listener. However, yes, go ahead and be part of the conversation and do talk. But when you talk, you don't want to throw out there all these accomplishments, and not that you can't, mention it, or if you're asked, about, your job. But if, let's say you are asked about your job, and let's say that you're a veterinarian assistant, and, instead of saying, oh yeah, I'm a veterinarian assistant, I spent this amount of time in school, and I make this amount of money, or I got this many years on the job, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's all fine, but that's kind of all masculine because you're laying out these actions. What you would want to do is to tell a little bit how your job makes you feel Instead of up here, where, it's male energy, you want to talk about your feelings, which is feminine energy. How does that job make you feel? It could be something like being a veterinary assistant is extremely fulfilling. I absolutely love it. I know I've always had a passion for animals, but I didn't realize how much of a passion. And now I have the opportunity to give that passion and love to the animals that I have happened to assist with. Something like that. See, that is going to say a lot more about your personality and who you are. And it's also about the feeling. Because men, they're looking for the opposite of them. They're already goal oriented, they're already male, and they're looking for the female. They're looking somebody that the female is the receiver. It's comfort, it's warmth, it's relaxfulness, and that is all feminine. And they are, believe me, they are very drawn to this, extremely drawn to this. And don't get hung up on, if you stumble over your words a little bit, because everybody does that on their first date and, things like that. However, at the end of the day, don't try to get pushy about, trying to get him to set the next date. If he is somebody that you're really interested in, you could just, very much thank you for your time and, show that you were, interested in the conversation and allow him to be a gentleman. If, he chooses to pay for that bill, then by golly, you let him pay for that because you are the receiving. And I don't mean that in a greedy way at all. And this has been hard for me because I always felt like I should have to pay the bill or pay my portion. No, if he is a high quality man, he's going to want to pay for your date. And that is just, how I think about it. And it is true, and he can, pay for your meal. And I don't think that it's being too, greedy or anything like that. He is, that's kind of how it is. Now, if you do choose to pay for some of the meal, that's okay too. But just keep that in mind, when you're on the date. Don't feel pressured about that at all. If you'd like to, you could leave part of the tip, but that's also part of his too. And he may refuse, to have you pay for any of the date or any of the tip and just say, thank you very much and really show your gratitude for it. Whenever you are sincere, they'll know it. If you try to be fake and just, push things off, and a good example is like when a woman says, when she's really mad or upset about something and a guy asks her, is there something wrong? And they'll be like, no, nothing's wrong at all. Well, you know what? He might go with that for a minute, but he knows that that's not true. He knows that there's something wrong or she's upset or mad about something. They know. Men are a lot more perceptive. You want to be your original self. And so anyways, when you get up and, and you're leaving for your date, and if I'm very big about allowing a man to open a door, and this was hard, and I practiced this with the last guy that I was dating. We would go to the restaurant and, and I have a tendency to walk fast, so I was trying to walk a little slower. And we get up to the door. And instead of, if I happened to reach the door first, I would stop myself and not grab that door handle. I would stand there and kind of lean like this and put my hands back, and I'd wait for him to open the door. And when he opened the door, then I would say thank you. And after a while, sometimes too, I would say to him, I really appreciate you opening the door because that makes me feel really wonderful. Remember, see, once again, you're showing the feminine energy. You're telling them how it makes you feel. It makes me feel like a princess. It makes me feel really wonderful, like being taken care of or being doted on when you open the door for me. And by golly, you give a guy that kind of incentive, they'll do it even more because, that just like, woo, that makes him feel great. It makes him feel like a man. And that's what you want to do. In our society, a lot of these men have started to be kind of treated feminine, and when they don't want to be. I ain't saying making a choice between being a male or feminist or anything like that, or whether someone's gay. I mean men that are male and want to be male, and women are kind of starting to belittle them and taking that away from them. However, that's just one small example. But anyhow, so you and your date or whatever, and you might have been wildly attracted to this guy, and he might have really been coming on to you, and you're not going to like this next piece of advice. Don't go overboard as far as physical with him, especially not on the first date. Not if you're wanting to actually attract a high quality man. And even if he is a high quality man, and you sleep with him on the very first date, guess what? Your chances of making it with him is very low. And I know a lot of you women are going, that's crazy, that's too backwards thinking, it's, too retro, whatever. No, it's very true. One, he's already won the prize that he was after. Because I'm going to tell you something. This is something that a lot of women don't realize. Even if a man is looking for kind of a relationship in his life and would like to get married sometime, when he goes on the date, that's not really what's on his mind. Very rare men go, oh God, I want to go on this date because I want to meet the woman of my dreams and get married. They're not thinking that. The average guy is thinking about getting laid. And I know how blunt that is, and how you're probably thinking, oh, there's no way. How a mature older man be thinking like that. Yes, they do. They all do. I think it's hardwired. It's natural for them. This is not making them out to be dirty dogs or anything like that. They are hardwired. That's how the whole attraction and the all comes into play in the beginning for the male. Sometimes is physical. However, you don't want to go there, because then at that point in time it takes you, instead of being that quality status that, wow, this might be a really high quality woman that I want to get to know a little bit more. um it lowers your chances immensely, because you just slept with him and it's like, oh, too easy. And that's not what I want. And even if a male isn't really sure whether or not you're the one for him or the high quality woman you're looking for, you want to get him going on a few dates first, and you may have to work with having that physical attraction that he has for you, and you don't want to give it into that. But you don't want to do it for yourself if that's not what you're looking for. And a lot of women, they may be out there and they might just be looking for a physical relationship, and that's kind of like a whole nother video and topic. However, it usually doesn't go anywhere, and it kind of does really hurt your self-esteem, because it's really not how it was all intended. And believe me, sex is very important, and I'm very much on the whole sexual aspect of things, let me tell you. But you want to do it in the right light. Anyhow, so you end the date or whatever, and you go home and you're thinking about him or whatever, and and you have to wait, for that, phone call and all that stuff. And a lot of times it will take that man maybe a couple of days to call you, and it's just driving you crazy. And I know how hard it is not to think about, him calling you and how much fun you had, and then you're upset because he hasn't called you. You got to take the focus off the man, because whenever you're putting the focus on the man, even when you're alone and not around him, he can feel it. I tell you, he can feel this. And especially much more as you get along in the dating, relationship, and we'll get more detailed with that as the videos go along. But anyways, he can feel that, that you're really, leaning forward and, being, when's he going to call and when's the next day and blah, blah, blah. How about if you just set it aside the best that you can and say, you know what, I had a really great time. I really like that guy, and maybe that will work out. However, he's not the only one out there. There may be other quality guys out there, and, it'll be nice if he calls, and, we'll see, about setting up the next date. And just try to, and get busy, get on with your life. I know it sounds selfish, but a big part of this feminine energy is to be focused on you and not on the man. And I know how selfish that sounds. And I happen to be a very giving person, so this was not an easy concept for me at all. But you want to be focused on what you got going on in your life, and and going with that, and it will draw him to you. Believe me, it will. Because if you put all your focus on him over here and doting on him and waiting for him to call and being pushy, and and just all your attention, and that's all you're thinking about, he's going to feel it and he's going to pull away. Whether it's in the very beginning stages of the relationship or further on down, they pull away. They don't want all that attention, that it's like a clingy feeling. You want to have the attention on what you got going on in your own life, your career and your personal life and your hobbies, and really taking joy in all of that. And believe me, this really does work. I have much, much more to cover, and it gets really, really interesting, and it is so much fun, and it really, really does work. I have to tell you, this does work. But not only does it work to attract that man, and and keep him attracted to you, and also to get him to eventually commit to you, all of that, and keeping your marriage strong and loving. But you're just going to be a lot more happier in general. You really are, because our feminine energy is our true nature. And so we have kind of gotten sidelined a little bit with the masculine, and it's time to, you know, to be with our feminine energy much, much more. And you'll be a lot happier and have a lot more love, you know, feeling the love and feeling love all around you and for everything. And you will, your whole life will be a lot more loving. Anyhow, I hope you got a blessing out of it today. Have a blessed day and have a great one.